Welcome to 7 Minutes from Central Europe, a program brought to you by the Central European Office of American Jewish Committee. Today I have the great honor and privilege to welcome His Excellency Mr. Yacov Livne, Ambassador of Israel to Poland. Welcome, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
I will start with a topic that up until last week would have been one of the most complicated and tough to address. It doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy one, but because last week Poland and Israel signed an agreement during the visit of your foreign minister to Poland, an agreement was signed that makes it possible for Israel to relaunch its youth trips to Poland. But does that mean that we are back to a time where the relationship between Poland and Israel was friendly and that both countries looked at one another, both governments looked at one another with trust? Are we back there yet?
Well, indeed, we had last week a very successful, I would almost say a historical visit of the Israeli foreign minister, Eli Cohen, here in Warsaw. During the visit, he met with his counterpart, Foreign Minister Rao, and they have signed one important agreement that will enable Israeli youth groups to return to Poland. This is significant because it allows Israeli youth not only to visit the sites that are related with the Holocaust, which is extremely important, but we also give them opportunity to meet with Polish youth, to see Poland, and I'm sure this will improve also contacts to the future. Now, regarding Polish-Israeli relationship, I think we have a very positive momentum currently. Obviously, in recent years, we have had some difficulties. I think we are now in a state where we found a good opportunity to overcome this. We have stated, and we also heard similar statement from the Polish side, that there is a keen interest to bring Polish-Israeli relationship back to where they were, to put them, as we say, back on track. This is why I was sent here as an ambassador. We are expecting a nomination of a Polish ambassador to Israel.
So that's a very important message for Poland and Israel for bilateral relations. But I wanted to ask you about something that is more important for Israel because it's more immediate, and that is the normalization of relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And I would like, and that was facilitated by China to make that even more exotic, let's say. I'd like to ask you what your perspective is on that, specifically in light of the still ongoing Russia's war in Ukraine.
Well, first, it is important to remember that Iran, the Islamic regime of Iran, this extremist regime, is by far the greatest danger to the national security of the state of Israel. This is a country, Iran is a country that supports terrorism on a daily basis, that calls to the destruction of the Jewish state. And therefore, we have stated quite often that we will do everything in our power to prevent Iran from having the possibility to threaten Israel. We will prevent Iran, together with our friends and allies, to acquire nuclear weapons. On the issue of the Saudi-Iranian deal agreement, I think it's still too early to tell if and to what extent this will be important. We concentrate today on strengthening our relationship with the Abraham Accords countries. And we hope very much that Saudi Arabia will become officially part of this very positive process in the Middle East that will enable Israel and our Arab neighbors to work better and closer together, also facing the Iranian danger, which is the most acute and the worst thing, I would say, that endangers all of us in the region and far, far beyond.
Talking of challenges, there's, I think, one more challenge that Israel is facing, and it's an internal challenge. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen huge crowds of Israelis taking to the streets in reaction to what looks as an intention to reform the judiciary in Israel. And Israel has rightly boasted to be the only liberal democracy in the Middle East. Do you think that what is at stake today is the very democracy in Israel?
Well, the fact is that Israel is not only the only democracy in the Middle East, but it has been a thriving, vibrant democracy since the establishment of the State of Israel 75 years ago. And actually, many years before. We should remember that the Zionist movement, which exists in a formal way, I would say, for more than 120 years, has operated as a democratic structure, as a democratic movement from its beginning, regarding various internal issues. Judicial issues, issues of where do we want our society to be in 10 years, in 20 years, etc. This is part of a democratic debate, which is not only legitimate, but also necessary. And I don't think anyone should have any doubts on the question whether Israel will go will solve this internal issue. We have solved much more serious issues in the past, and we should certainly assume that we will overcome this internal issue in the best way, as we have done in the past.
We're all very hopeful for that, and there's this saying: "We have survived the Pharaoh, we'll survive anything that comes after that." So as we near the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the State of Israel, we wish Israel all the best. May it go from strength to strength. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us for this very engaging, interesting conversation, and I hope our listeners and viewers will join us in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. And this is another opportunity to thank you and the AJC Central Europe for everything that you're doing, and an opportunity to wish Pesach Sameach, Happy Passover to everybody. Toda rabba v'shalom.
Pesach Sameach. Thank you.